Alrighty, guys, welcome to another episode of Coaching Chats. Sorry for last week. Simon had a migraine. He was dealing with the loss of Ryan not being there. Myself, talked about myself in the third person, as a good person always does. So he had a migraine. I was away, and the other two butt nuggets couldn't get their act together. So with that in said, Simon, would you like to go for your favourite part of the week? It's a minute with Simon. Ready? Let me get the clock up. Are you prepared, Simon?
Yeah.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
And a minute. Let's go.
I actually had a great week at the gym. Didn't have to deal with Ryan for a week, so the boys made everything run smoothly. So yeah, I was pretty happy. A few parties on the weekend, and I think now I'm paying the price. I'm a bit sick today. I haven't had much sleep because of the roadworks, so bloody Transperth are doing these roadworks and not letting me know. So my dog's been barking all night. And now they're fast asleep, and I'm kind of 3 or 4 coffees in. I did want to use the rest of my time though to see if anyone wants to buy these lovely sunglasses, because I don't want to send them back to America. $120 from Movement, the same frame as these, but they just don't suit my skinny face.
Sales pitch.
You got 15 seconds, Simon. Sell the glasses.
Well, they don't suit my skinny face, but they got a nice, turtle-like color, dark lens. I don't know. They're pretty good. I've actually ordered another one, just in a smaller frame, so we can have a matching pair if you like.
And that's a minute. Well, thank you, Simon, for that great insight this week on how your life is going and you trying to flog stuff. So where can you find these sunnies? Is it private message? Are you putting them on Gumtree? What's going on? Do we need to send a link?
Message. Yeah, it'll be a private message. I don't want to be spammed millions of times on Gumtree like you do with all your ads for sunny.
Could you please send a photo of that to the FSC community as well?
Yes, I will do that later.
Excellent, sweet. And then me, Julian, and Adam can all make fake accounts for you with these sunglasses on with your email address. Sunnies for sale. That's a Brady trick. If anyone has ever done that before, Brady is the king of that. Brady, if you're listening, mate, sell Simon sunglasses next year. Alrighty, guys. Speaking of next year, don't know how I'm wingling my way into this one, but speaking of next year, it's that time of year where everyone we're looking at new members and we're going, what are the things that make people succeed? So our topic for today is attributes that you see in successful people who are getting results. Simon, you had a quite open one, so I would like you to start, please.
Jeez, do I not get a break?
I don't know. You're on a roll, brother.
So I think the biggest one for me is open-mindedness and willing to learn. We have had people in the past that come in and they're either like, oh, I only do cardio, or I'm not going to do any weights, or I can do X amount of kilos. I don't need to do all this basic stuff because I'm super strong. But the reality is those are the guys that aren't getting the results, or those are the guys that haven't got results in the past that we've seen in the gym. So they're not willing to do the simple stuff. They're not willing to learn about the body, how it moves, how to activate, how to get strong from the bottom up, I guess.
Nice. I actually think that's a really good one, Simon, because we get it all the time. We get people calling up saying, oh, I like my HIIT work. I don't want to get too, going back to the females, when females say, I don't want to get too bulky, or guys say, I don't want to look skinny or something like that. It goes both ways. Or Jules goes, I want to have bigger calves, but I just can't, so I'm not going to train them. It's genetics. Jules, that's okay.
That's true, though.
You can get bigger calves. It will happen. But it's a really important one that you see a lot in the female populations coming into our gym who haven't had a lot of experience with lifting weights. And I feel like it's quite important. Jules, what do you want to talk about?
I want to talk about dealing with motivation. So something that I've found in myself and then a lot of my clients is the highs and lows of motivation. So I listened to, there's a pro wrestler in Perth named Damian Slater. He's one of the best coaches in the country, and he often talks about the same thing. And I think it is applicable in both settings. where, you know, when you've got motivation, you're flying high and everything seems to come easy and it's easy to get into the gym and you're excited to do your work. But when you need the motivation, it seems to be that it's never there. Sometimes you're just too tired and things are too stressful and it's too hard. And the motivation to come in and to do your best and try and excel in the gym and make it a priority kind of goes away. So I think that one of the biggest things that people need to consider is their mechanisms of sort of managing motivation slumps and being consistent with their training, no matter how their mentality is. So basically just staying strong-minded and trusting the process and trusting the coaches and making sure that, you know, even if you don't really want to be there, you still get in and get the work done, because that motivation will eventually return and you'll be glad that you were consistent during the time that it wasn't there.
And that feeds beautifully into what Adam was about to talk about. So Adam, kick us off, mate. And then mine literally just encapsulates everything about.
We didn't plan this either, by the way, so I'm glad we all agree.
Yeah, it's good.
I think, mine perfectly ties in with what Jules was saying about motivation. And I'd say one of the best attributes you can have is like discipline to do the work. So exactly what Jules said, motivation is kind of like a roller coaster. There's going to be like highs, lows, and what separates the people who are successful, and this not just in the gym, this is with anything and everything, is when you don't feel like doing it and getting the work done on that day is what's going to put you closer towards getting your goals. So and that ties in with being consistent as well. So like a good example would be like brushing your teeth. You do that every day, whether you feel like doing it or not, and then that's going to end up with good teeth, right? Not the best example, actually.
It's not
be like consistent, right? Like you don't always feel like brushing your teeth, but you've built that consistent habit and have the discipline to do so. And just because you don't feel like going to the gym, it doesn't mean you have to smash yourself in the gym. It's the discipline and the consistency to just get to the gym, get some sort of workout in, and auto-regulate whether you need to be doing a hard workout or not. But getting to the gym makes it that much easier to go again the next time.
Yeah, Mario summed that up really well. And I've mentioned it before on this show. He said to me one time when he came in and wasn't feeling good, he went, "You don't always have to kill it. You just have to make sure you do it." And I think that's like a really, from a guy who has the attributes that we are talking about right now and is getting results, I think that's a really important takeaway. My point is faith. And it's not faith in terms of, you know, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. It's more the faith of the Ryan, the Simon, the Adam, the Jules. So I'm talking about faith in, yes, see, I got that one. I was thinking about it. I was talking about it off air before. And I was like, damn, I've got this now. Simon's just no-selling it. He's like, make religious jokes. Anyway, I'm talking about, you know, faith with your coaches, faith in the process. Faith in yourself is a big one. A lot of people give up on themselves way before, you know, and they find external issues that stops their motivation, you know, closes their mind up. They find these excuses and they hold themselves back, or they keep themselves in a safe thing. And that is a lack of faith in yourself. Like when people question sometimes, you know, oh, why do we have to do a 6-second tempo? Or why do we have to do a 4-second hold and stuff like that? You know, they need to have a bit more faith in the process of what we're trying to do. It's not always about lifting the maximal amount of tonnage you can. Sometimes it's about lifting little so you can be able to lift big. Or sometimes it's about not lifting at all. But there's a process there, and the faith and the buy-in that guys have with that and the process and the coaching and in themselves to be able to trust someone else with their, you know, their fitness journey, I think is one of the biggest attributes you can have, and ties in nicely with everyone else's little point. But I have a question to you guys as well. You didn't know this was coming because I'm a sneaky host. Is the faith of the member the fault of the member, or the fault of the coach for not instilling it in the member? Or is it both? Cop-out question.
Yeah, I feel like it's both, because if the member doesn't have the faith in the first place, then you could do by the best coaching in the world. But if they're not bought in, then you're only going to get so far. And you could have a member who's extremely bought in, but the coach doesn't deliver on their end, then
it's not going to work out. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Jules?
No, I tend to agree. I like harken back to the days when we've all played competitive sports at some level, and some of the every coach you've ever had has a game plan and the way that he thinks the team or the athlete can win. And if the whole team buys in, then you figure out if the plan can work. So we all back ourselves that our plans will work, and consistently when people do buy in, the plans do work. So we just need the client to buy in with us. But yeah, if we don't deliver, if we say we're going to deliver something and it doesn't happen, then it's our fault if they lose faith. So yeah, it goes both ways.
I think the team sport example is perfect, and I coach junior basketball, and it's exactly junior sports is a mess because kids are super inconsistent. But like, I'll put some sort of game plan in place, and I'll never know if it works if the kids don't do it. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly the same as like programming in the gym. Like you could come up with an amazing program, but the person doesn't do it, you have no idea whether it works or not. Mm-hmm. So it's the responsibility of the client to buy into that process and do it. If for some reason it doesn't work, you got to reevaluate, and then that's on the coach to make adjustments for that person.
Simon, or are you done? You're speaking for the day.
Yeah, I agree with both points. It just stops the coach getting complacent as well. Mm-hmm. And probably even the client getting complacent, like accepting a poor standard from the coach.
Yep, I agree, guys. It's a dual-way street, two-way street, dual-way street. It's a highway going in either direction.
6 lanes.
Tip of the slipper to you, my friends. So yeah, well, it's definitely a dual effort. It comes from both. I believe initially the coach needs to be able to instill that faith in the client, and consistently remind it, but the client needs to be open-minded. Back to Simon. If it doesn't come up as 4 squares, I just looked across to where Simon's screen is. Look, that was where Simon's screen is.
Simon's down there for me.
Oh, geez, really? Well, let's hope it's recording on mine and it's that way. Jules is that way, and Adam is that way. I don't know if that does anything, but it is definitely the coach has to keep instilling the faith in the athlete, and the athlete has to keep being open to the fact that the things are going the right way. So I believe it's both, and I believe there is different points where each one of them is going to drop, and it's the job of the other to bring it back up or keep the other one accountable.
Yeah, it's like a good, healthy relationship. You trust the other person to do their bit, you always do your bit, everyone's happy. What's your bit in your relationship, Jules? Look, I haven't figured that out yet.
I was going to say, I think Stella does most of the lifting for you.
I just stay handsome.
And speaking of handsome, Adam.
Yes.
You're a handsome man. What movie did you watch this week?
What a segue. Yeah. What did I watch? I watched the week before we didn't do it. So I watched Spirited Away, which is a Studio Ghibli film. And then I watched another Studio Ghibli film this weekend called Kiki's Delivery Service. They're just like the Japanese animated ones. Spirited Away I hadn't watched since I was a very little kid, so it's good to watch that one again. Animation's like amazing. I don't even know how to describe it. You got to watch it for yourself. Like it's just super weird, but it's good. And then the one I watched on the weekend, Kiki's Delivery Service, I hadn't seen that one before, but it was rated extremely high on some of the reviews. So decided to watch that one. I thought it was pretty good, but I didn't think it deserved to be. I think it got like 98% on Rotten Tomatoes, and I was like, I'd rate some of the other ones I watched higher. That's my opinion.
So how many hops are they getting?
I'll give Spirited Away is a classic. I'll give that 5 out of 5 hops.
Oh,
hey
whiz!
It's the top-rated film.
No, didn't I do 2 others that were 5?
Yeah.
Yeah, but have they changed now? You've watched that one.
No, they don't really. I feel like they don't really impact. It's very different.
I got a recommendation for you this week.
Sorry, you got a recommendation? Oh.
Team America.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been trying
Speaking
to
of
get Adam to
animated
watch it all week.
greatness.
Team
Speaking of
America.
animated greatness. That's
I think it's
Yeah,
very
you're going
relevant
from
in
like,
today's
is
society.
that a Japanese anime? Those ones?
Yeah.
Are they in Japanese?
Yes, but you can watch like they're dubbed
The
in
English, they've got an English voiceover.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're all,
Is it,
like I think at the start of the year or partway through the year, like majority of the Studio Ghibli ones got uploaded onto Netflix. So we're slowly like watching through them again.
nice.
Reminiscing of my childhood.
So you've got a 5 hops for the good one. What was that one again?
Spirited Away.
So Spirit of the Way, that's 5 hops. And what was the other one?
I'll give
Something
you the
about
other
Postman.
one.
Postman Pat?
Kiki's delivery
service.
So, you what? Digby's
Kiki's delivery service.
Kiki's delivery service. And what does that get?
I'll give that 4 out of 5. It was good. I just didn't think it was as good as the review said.
Speaking of great animes, when are you watching A Land Before Time?
After Team America.
After Team America, I guess.
Well, it's been requested about 4 times now by myself, so I'd love to hear your in-depth review on The Land Before Time. It's a quick one as well. It's only like, it's a kid's film, so it's only like an hour and a half.
Yeah, sweet.
It's a 90-minute banger.
Actually, I watched Hamish and Andy, like some of Hamish and Andy's Gap Year yesterday as well. That's a classic.
They're funny, eh?
Oh, so good.
They're funny. You know what was funny this weekend? Jules, sport was funny this weekend, wasn't it? Tell me about it, mate. It's a rotten week of sport.
So you're not going to hear anyone else's voice for a couple of minutes here because I've got some stuff to talk about. Let's start with
Eat some chicken.
Other sports. So a bit of sports news straight off the bat. NCAA sport, which is the college sport in America, have announced that all NCAA Division I sports will not resume in 2020. So that is a massive, massive deal in America at the moment. Big news. That is very, I don't know if harmful is the word, but that really causes chaos with athletes because for those of you that don't know, the way American sports work is basically athletes will, more so than they do in Australia, they'll really put time into sport in high school in order to get offers from colleges, and they will pick where they go to school with their football or their wrestling or their whatever career in mind. So NCAA sport not returning in 2020 is massive news. That's going to throw a lot of athlete plans out of the window. Not good. We will see. They're petitioning to get it back. The players are not happy that it got cancelled. Rugby. As you know, I don't know what rugby is what, so I'm going to read the Super Rugby results. The Western Force got pumped by the Waratahs. Is that a shame? Sounds like it. That's bad.
Yeah, Western Force is the WA team. We want them to win.
Yeah, and we don't like the Waratahs.
Waratahs sharp.
Then the Reds, they did the Rebels quite convincingly. So a lot happening in Super Rugby, obviously, as always. NBA, Adam's wheelhouse.
Yep.
It's given me some recent games, and I will read recent game results. Let's see.
Oh, actually, let me tell you about it. So they've just finished the regular season, right? And there was, I think it was so the top 8 teams from each conference make the playoffs, and there was like a 3 or 4-way tie for 8th place in the Western Conference. Dear. So I think based on head-to-heads, 2 of them like finished on a tie, so then they had like a playoff for who got into the 8th seed.
A playoff on a playoff.
Yeah, it was hectic. And the poor Phoenix Suns, the Phoenix Suns have like typically been one of the lower teams, but they had the run of their life. They went 8-0 in the bubble in Orlando, but they missed out because Brooklyn didn't beat the Blazers. So then Blazers managed to get into that 8th spot. It was devastating for Phoenix.
That is chaos.
Regular season just wrapped up.
Go the Brooklyn Badgers.
Well, that is about what you need to know then, really.
Yep. Playoffs start Tuesday. Game 1, it seems, is the Nuggets and the Jazz. And then also the Raptors and the Nets. Who's going to win those 2, Adam? Oh, Nuggets will probably win, and I'd say Raptors will probably win as well.
Oh, Toronto. Who's been there? Not me. All right. Moving on. Here's what we're trying to talk about. This is the big news. We're going to talk about football here. All right. I got something to say. Don't mind me. Okay, so this week's games. Sydney flogged GWS. I'm going to give my official cooked stamp on GWS. GWS are cooked. No good. No good for the rest of the year. Geelong beat Port Adelaide. Neither team are cooked. Both teams are cruising. North Melbourne just went down to Brisbane by 1 point. Absolute barn burner of a game. The Demons pumped Collingwood. Guess what? Collingwood, cooked. They got my cooked stamp. They can't play finals. The Bulldogs.
Oh, is that what the cook stamps mean?
Yes, they're cooked. Cooked for the year.
You probably should explain that before you just start cooking
the
stuff.
fans will get it. The Doggies beat Adelaide by 10 goals. Guess what? Adelaide, they've lost 12 games in a row. Pretty fair to say. Cooked. The Eagles pumped Hawthorn, and James Sicily, Hawthorn's best player, did his knee. So Hawthorn are cooked. And Richmond and Gold Coast play tonight. But the big news. Saturday night at Optus Stadium.
Rio are cooked.
No, they are cooked. Rio are cooked. I'll give them the cooked stamp. But, all right, here we go. I got to talk about this. I'm not going to take all day, but this is
We've only got
thoughts.
5 minutes left.
Okay. Here we go. The Dockers were robbed. They actually were robbed. And Dockers fans love blaming everybody but the Dockers. But we've lost for 25 years. I can take a loss. I've seen them lose 600 odd games in my life. We were robbed this time. So a couple of points real quick. The free kick in the first place, Matt Taberner delivered out of bounds. Good call. That was delivered out of bounds. You got to take contact and then dribble it out of bounds in order to not give away a free kick. He didn't do that, gave away a free kick. Have you guys seen what I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah, but continue on.
So they gave away a deliberate out of bounds free kick. The player that took the free kick kicked it as far as he could. The ball went out on the full. Dockers win. There was 7 seconds on the clock, okay? So the ball went out on the full, which means we get possession. You're allowed to take 10 seconds to take your kick. So all we had to do was hold the ball and we won. Then a whistle went. Nobody knew what happened. Apparently the player that kicked it out on the full, his opponent jumped up to smother the ball. When the ball went over his head, the two players made light contact after the missed smother, and they gave a downfield free kick against Fremantle, which means that because he hit the play, they made contact after the ball had left. That means where the ball landed, the players get a kick. Now, for no apparent reason, they changed the rule last year. If the ball went out on the full and you were paid a downfield free kick, it's supposed to go back to where the first kicker took it. Apparently, they abolished that rule in the offseason and nobody talked about it, but it's been deleted from the rule book. So this is the first time it's ever happened. Then the player who's closest to where the ball lands is supposed to take the kick. Some douchebag from 25 meters away, who's one of their best kicks, runs past all his teammates and puts his hand up, and the umpire gives him the ball. What's that all about? It's got to go to the closest man to the kick. So this guy, admittedly, hand up, very nice kick, 55 meters from literally the hardest angle on the ground. It went straight through the middle. You can't do anything about that. It's one of the best kicks. That is one of the best kicks you'll ever see in AFL footy. And it had to be against us. But my point is to finish. If you think that the Dockers deserve to lose that game, or if you think that was the right call, you're actually what's wrong with football, because we are the worst officiated sport. We are the worst officiated professional sport in the whole world. Okay, the umpires make more mistakes in AFL than they make in any other sport. We, on average, have the most off-season rule changes of any sport. So we have 7 or 8 rule changes a year. And these rule changes are costing teams games. Umpires are making mistakes like there's no tomorrow because they don't even know the rules anymore. Commentators just sit there in silence half the time because they don't know what the free kick was for. And now it's cost the Dockers a game. I'm absolutely furious. We were absolutely robbed. It's just a shit call. And you know what? For the there's two fans are happy that happened. Carlton fans are happy because they won. I understand that. And Eagles fans are happy because they just like to see the Dockers lose. Everybody else understands that the Dockers were robbed. For everyone that laughs at the Dockers, the umpiring is that bad at the moment that when your team plays in a final and the umpire's call costs them the game, I'm going to laugh at you too. So that's it. I hate AFL umpires. Sort your shit out, AFL. And also
and in
the
the
Dockers should
spirit of sportsmanship and everything else, I'd like to say goodbye for this afternoon's coaching chats. I'm actually going to do it right today. Stay strong, stay safe, stay connected. Boys.
Be formidable.
Be formidable.
Be formidable.